Ohio everyone, welcome back to Move with P. Today's flow is a little bit shorter with a little bit of spice, so perfect for when you only have a short pocket of time. No props needed, dogs are optional. So sit yourself up in a comfortable seat, just make sure you have enough floor space to move around in. Carpet is quite nice, yoga mat, sure. Once seated, set up the body with a little bit of care and consideration. Find the left sitting bone, the right sitting bone. Tilt the pubic bone slightly forward and then sass the tailbone out. Holding ground through the legs, yawn the arms up overhead to create a V, like a V for victory or like a Y for YMCA. Keep energy, currency, chi moving out from all 10 of your fingers. Energetically create more space between hand to hand, giving a portal to activate the thymus gland at the very center of the chest. From here, stay as you are, just yawn the arms down to shoulder height, keeping the palms up. Wrap the thumbs forward, down, and back to find an internal rotation of the arms, tucking the chin into the chest. On the in-breath, unwind, wrapping the thumbs to point towards the back of the space. And then as you exhale, round back down. Finding these little cats and cows through the upper thoracic spine. It's like you're wrapping the shoulder in its own socket, noticing how what the hands do affects what the shoulders do, and what the shoulders do affects how the lungs sit, and how the lungs sit ultimately affects your posture, and your posture affects how you experience the moment. Yawn both hands overhead, coming to touch and then interlacing them and reaching the palms up towards the ceiling. Find length, stretch the crown of the head long, take a breath in, and then pop your exhale, let the arms come down to either side. Hardest part of class is done. Now make your way onto all fours, setting yourself up in a series of right angles. And then once you're there, in your own time, in your own way, begin to round and arc the spine, pressing down through the tops of the feet. Continue to shift the weight forward to find the knuckles of the hands. Inhale as you arc, exhale as you round. Perhaps play with flipping the wrists so the fingers point back towards the knees. If that's too much, then you can widen the fingertips out east and west. And then find a slight micro bend in the elbows and begin to make circles with the hips. Finding a very primal movement here. Letting the movement stem from the lower body, but just ripple its way up the torso, up the neck. Move the hips in both directions. And then when that feels fluid, unflip the wrists. And then you're going to stick your right leg out to your own side. And then from here, shift the pelvis back and forward. Back and forward. Keep a slight micro bend in that right knee so you're not locking anything out. As we begin to yawn open the inseam of the right leg. As that feels a little bit more fluid, come back to center. Turn the right toes out and then begin to make circular motions with the hips. You can imagine like you're stirring a big soup in that right hip socket. Stirring the femur head into its own socket. Make sure to swivel in both directions, letting the movement feel primal. And then you'll come up to stand on the left shin. Place your hands on your hips. And from here, you'll creepy crawl the right fingertips down towards the right ankle, yawning the left arm up towards the ceiling, and then perhaps arcing it over towards the right. Beginning to unstick the lungs on the left side. On the next exhale, cartwheel the left hand down, yawn the right arm up overhead, and extend it alongside the right ear. Feeling a long line from the right leg all the way up to the right middle finger. And then come back up, draw the right knee back in, tuck the toes under, and then sit the hips back. Toe breaker moment. Begin to bounce, have a little freak out. Any shuck and jive that helps distract you from the feeling of opening up the inner arches of the feet. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Your next inhale, sweep the arms up, untuck the toes. Ooh, sweet release. Exhale, lower the hips, come back on all fours, and stick the left leg out to its own side. From here, we'll do the same thing, flossing the pelvis to the back of the room and then to the front. It's almost like a one-legged up dog and then a one-legged child's pose. Just beginning to yawn open the inseam of the left leg. Then after a few times, turn the toes out, begin to draw those sexy little circles with the hips, going one way and then the opposite direction. Releasing synovial fluid into the joint capsule in the left hip. Letting the movement feel nice and primal, stirring the soup. And then walk the hands in. This time, reach the arms up overhead, find length. And then drip the left hand down, creepy crawl the hands down towards the left toes, unsticking the lungs on the right side. Cartwheel the right hand down, yawn the left arm overhead, slightly push that left hip forward, finding a little bit more length. Cartwheel the arms open, draw the left knee in, and then sit back on the heels with the toes untucked. We're getting the other side of the foot, so as I'm doing here, you'll just hug one knee in, and then the opposite one. This is almost like a cracking the toes moment. Ugh, yeah, girl, I know. This doesn't feel as nice. I mean, yeah, beauty is pain. It's like that kind of situation. So keep going, and then, you can have a play with having a little vinyasa moment as I'm doing here. So as you inhale, rock backwards. Exhale, rock forward into a dog, but keeping the toes tucked under. Trust me, your feet will be very happy after this little sequence. And if the 2 toes is a little bit too much for right now, just stick to hugging one knee at a time. And if you're having a little rock and roll moment, enjoy it. Then wherever you are, you can make your way into a dog, either rolling over all 10 toes or stepping back. And then once you're in your dog, do your thing. Wag your tail, take your dog out on a little walk. A little yawn the leg open moment, opening up the hips, inviting in any juicy, ooey gooey movements to wake up the dog a little bit. Wake her up from her slumber. Your next inhale, come forward into a plank. Back to see that the shoulders are stacked over the wrists, and then exhale, shift the hips back, and then begin to rock back and forth from a down dog into a plank using the feet. We open up the arches here, so let the bounce really reverberate from the lower body up to the upper body. Next time around, dip the pelvis down low, shine the heel bones back, tuck-toed upward facing dog. You can windshield wiper the ankles side to side. Feels nice to move with the first one. Exhale, come back into a dog. Keeping a sense of buoyancy in the feet, bend the knees, look forward, and hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Slip the hands underneath the feet to find Padahastasana. If that's far away, then just bend the knees a little bit more. I'm sure you can find that fit. And then you can rock side to side, front to back, just beginning to comb through the back line of the legs, decompressing the spine. Let the head really drop. Imagine you're wearing a really big, heavy helmet here. Keeping yourself in a closed circuit is a great way to soothe the nervous system. And then you can bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, lift the tail, drop the head. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, head drops, tail lifts. So you're building dimension by moving 2 different places away from one another. Unslip the hands from the feet. And then from the lower body, reconstruct the spine bone by bone, coming all the way up to a stand, setting up the spine like you care, setting up the body like you care. And that's that. Congratulations on finishing this little mini workout. Whoop, 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 whoop. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know if there's any other flow or format that you'd like to see. And I hope you have a beautiful day.